There is some insane stuff happening with Google and Apple. Oh my gosh. CNBC, Alphabet shares sink 7% after Apple's Q says AI will replace search engines. Alphabet and Apple shares sank after Eddie Q, Apple's services chief, said he believes that AI search engines will eventually replace standard search engines such as Google. Q said he expects the artificial intelligence services from OpenAI, Perplexity, and Anthropic as search options in Apple's Safari browser in the future. The Apple executive was testifying in a federal court in Washington as part of the Justice Department's lawsuit against Alphabet. And Google just put out a statement. This was yesterday, May 7th. Here's our statement on this morning's press reports about search traffic. We continue to see overall query growth in search. If you don't know what query growth means, it means the amount of searches happening. We continue to see overall query growth in search. That includes an increase in total queries coming from Apple's devices and platforms. More generally, as we enhance search with new features, people are seeing that Google search is more useful for more of their queries. And they're accessing it for new things and in new ways, whether from browsers or the Google app using their voice or Google Lens. We're excited to continue this innovation and look forward to sharing more at Google I/O. And this is in response to Eddie Q also saying, so not only did he say that AI search providers will eventually replace standards, he believes that AI search providers will eventually replace standard search engines like Google, but he also said, so this is from Search Engine Land, searches on Apple's Safari browser declined for the first time last month, and Apple's senior vice president of services, Eddie Q, blamed AI. That has never happened in 22 years, according to Q. People are using AI, Q testified Wednesday during the DOJ's antitrust trial against Google, calling AI a fundamental shift that's eating into traditional search dominance. AI search rising. Apple is exploring a revamp of Safari to prioritize AI-powered search engines, Q testified. AI search tools like OpenAI, Perplexity, and Anthropic are being seriously evaluated, though they are not yet ready to be defaults, Q said. Quite different from CNBC's statement on it, and I trust Search Engine Land a lot more on this. Q said there is much greater potential because they are attacking the problem in a different way. And there's a bunch of yes buts. This was such a good article by Search Engine Land. So here's why we care. Here's why we as marketers and business owners and people using SEO, here's why we care. AI has forever changed search. The decline in Safari searches could signal a behavioral shift that you shouldn't ignore because it could have massive implications for your future search and discoverability strategies. Yes, but despite the excitement around AI, Google remains the default search engine for Safari. And Q said he's lost sleep over the risk of losing the Google deal, which at an estimated $19 billion is still the most lucrative arrangement that Apple has. And another yes, but let's not forget that Google is also an AI search engine. AI overviews are seen by 1.5 billion users a month and sit on top of many of the 5 trillion searches conducted annually on Google. ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude combined remain barely a blip in terms of search share. You'd be well advised not to plan Google's funeral before it dies. The big picture. Apple offers ChatGPT via Siri. It could add Google's Gemini this year. Q confirmed a behind-the-scenes bake-off between Google and OpenAI last year, one Google lost due to unacceptable terms. Even if AI search tools lack strong indexes, Q said their features are so much better that people will switch from standard search to AI search. Zoom out. AI is a paradigm shift similar to the advent of the iPhone, Q said. You may not need an iPhone 10 years from now, as crazy as it sounds. And I just want to go back to Google's statement. They literally said, we continue to see overall query growth in search and an increase in total queries coming from Apple's devices and platforms. So crazy things are happening. Should you be concerned? Should you be concerned? So I have a barometer that I turn to. And it's a site that I did bottom-of-funnel search engine optimization for, targeting only transactional keywords. It's a site that makes money. I'm not going to say the site. Some people know it. Some people who are listening know the site. I haven't updated pages on the site in over 5 years. And my barometer is, did this site get disrupted. Because I've talked about this before. Since I made these pages targeting my transactional keywords, the pages took a few months or sometimes only a few weeks to rank number one, and then they stayed at number one. And since I made the pages, they have ranked for their target keywords number one, even if I made the pages in 2019. And so my barometer is, did this site, which has not been updated in 5 years, did this site have like a serious decline that would be worrying? And I still see incredible stability, and the revenue has not changed. So in the last 16 months, rankings are very stable. Traffic, clicks to these bottom-of-funnel SEO landing pages are very stable. So am I worried about my strategy, about doing bottom-of-funnel SEO, which, as I have said before, transactional keywords are not being disrupted by AI overviews or by AI solutions like ChatGPT? And actually, all the studies confirm this. All the studies say it's informational queries, how, what, why, when, where, blog SEO that is being targeted by AI. So when I look at my graph, I see, you know what, I'm not really concerned about this. Now, if I was doing informational SEO and I was trying to give value in the form of how-to articles, I wasn't a unique voice that people wanted to hear for the unique voice, I would be more concerned. If I was making very simple how-to articles, I would be more concerned. If I was making content on something, if I was putting up how-to content or what, why, when, where content on topics that were readily available and that lots of content existed on, and I just believed I could do better SEO so I could rank for them, that would be problematic, and I wouldn't do that. So as a marketer or as an entrepreneur, what should you do? And my answer is, don't depend on blog SEO. Make pages selling your stuff, targeting search terms where people are searching, looking for what you offer. People will look for this using different terms in different ways. People are always going to be searching. These types of pages rank really well with AI. And you know what? The last thing that I want to say, because I really thought about that, I thought about this a lot this morning. The last thing that I want to say is a lot of people think that Apple really fumbled its AI integrations. I personally think that there's so much that my iPhone should be able to do with AI. It can't do any of it, and it gets things wrong so often. Oh my gosh. So I'm not very bullish on how Apple is integrating AI. That's one. Two is, I think a lot of people know that AI hallucinates a ton. I've been getting really bad hallucinations with AI lately. I would only depend on AI for queries where I know there's an abundance of topics on this. There's an abundance of content on this. So it's unlikely that the AI will synthesize wrong. The more data there is on something, the more likely the AI will give you good output. But for stuff where there's not a lot of data, it's not going to give good output. And I think a bunch of people are realizing that. You know, it'd be good. I think it'd be good if schools taught AI literacy. That'd be really useful. AI literacy in schools. I feel like that's a new niche it's the basics of what you should know if you are using ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity or any of these. When should you trust the output from an AI and when should you not? Anyway, so I'm not very concerned. Google said we continue to see overall query growth in search. This is not the first time that I have shared this. I've shared so many reports from Datos and from other marketing data tools that confirm this. Searches are still on the rise. People are using Google more, and SEO is still a phenomenal channel. But it's huge news. This is big news. This is big news in digital marketing. So I had to cover this. If you heard a little bit about it, now you know the full story. And that is all for episode 673 of The Edward Show. This is my daily digital marketing podcast. Guess who I'm recording with later today? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to spoil it. I'm recording with Rand Fishkin later today. In a couple of hours, I'm recording with Rand Fishkin. Rand Fishkin is the founder of Moz, which is my favorite SEO software. I think it's the best software for actually getting results. It's for 2 features that Moz has. I'll talk about that with Rand. And I can't believe he's coming on my show. He is someone who I learned SEO from back in the day when I was watching his Whiteboard Fridays. And now he's coming on my podcast. Crazy. Anyway, all right. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.